Farm tractors aren't usually about speed or flash, they're about power. But what happens when that power gets pushed to the absolute limit? We're talking engines so massive they could rival locomotives and ships. These aren't your everyday John Deeres or Case IHs. These are the giants, the 10 largest engines ever put into old tractors, from the legendary Big Bud 747 to prototypes with not one, not two, but 3 engines strapped in. These machines shook the ground they drove on and rewrote the rules of farming. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see just how far farmers and engineers went in their quest for unstoppable power. Number 10. MeriCrusher MT-700. Although most of the tractors on this list come from the 1960s to 1980s, the MeriCrusher MT-700 earns its place as a modern continuation of the big engine tradition. Designed more for land clearing and reclamation than conventional farming, the MT-700 is a crawler tractor powered by a Volvo TAD 1643 VE engine. This massive 16.1-liter 6-cylinder turbocharged diesel produces up to 768 horsepower, placing it firmly in the ranks of the most powerful tractors ever built. Unlike wheeled giants such as the Big Bud, the MT-700 relies on tracks, giving it unmatched traction and stability on rough, uneven ground. It was designed for extreme conditions, mulching trees, crushing stumps, and reclaiming land for agricultural or forestry use. The engine's high torque output allows it to power massive PTO-driven attachments, turning the MT-700 into a multi-purpose land-clearing machine. At over 20 tons, it is a true colossus, but one that trades speed for brute force. The MT-700 is also an example of how big tractors evolved over time. Instead of focusing solely on pulling wide plows, modern giants often serve multiple roles, combining raw power with specialized implements. Farmers and contractors who use it value its ability to handle jobs no other tractor could touch, particularly in forestry and heavy land management. While it may not have the fame of the Big Bud or the unique history of Big Roy, the MT-700 represents the continuation of the giant engine philosophy into the 21st century. Its Volvo engine is one of the largest ever fitted to a tracked agricultural tractor, and its performance ensures that it will be remembered as one of the most capable land machines of its era. The MT-700 shows that even today there's still a place for big engines in the tractor world. Number 9. ACO-600 Ubaas. While North America and Europe dominated the tractor horsepower wars, South Africa had its own contender in the form of the ACO-600 Ubaas. Built by ACO, a South African engineering firm, the Ubaas was created to meet the demands of massive commercial farms that needed a tractor capable of handling extreme workloads in tough conditions. At its core was a Mercedes-Benz ADE 444 Ti V12 twin-turbo diesel, a colossal engine producing up to 820 horsepower. With a displacement exceeding 24 liters, this engine was one of the largest ever put into an agricultural tractor outside North America. The ACO-600 was no lightweight. It weighed over 20 tons and featured huge articulated steering to manage its size. Farmers who operated it reported that it could pull implements wider than anything else available in the region, dramatically reducing the time needed to cultivate large fields. What made the ACO-600 unique was its regional significance. South African farms often faced unique challenges: vast open fields, extreme climates, and limited access to imported machinery. The Ubaas was engineered locally to meet these demands, combining raw power with durability. Though produced in very small numbers, its reputation spread quickly, and it became a symbol of South African agricultural innovation. Today, the ACO-600 is considered a rare collector's item, often showcased at machinery events where its sheer size amazes spectators. For enthusiasts, it holds a special place because it represents a global story. The quest for larger and more powerful tractors wasn't limited to the US. With its Mercedes V12 heart and 820 horsepower under the hood, the ACO-600 Ubaas proved that Africa, too, built machines that could stand among the largest tractors ever made. Number 8. Kirovets K-701. In the vast, unforgiving fields of the Soviet Union, farming demanded tractors that could handle brutal conditions. Enter the Kirovets K-701, a giant 4WD articulated tractor that became the pride of Soviet agriculture. Produced starting in the late 1970s at the Kirov plant in Leningrad, now St. Petersburg, the K-701 was designed to endure where smaller Western tractors would break down. Powering this beast was a Yams 240 V12 diesel engine, displacing 23 liters and producing around 300 to 375 horsepower depending on the model. While its horsepower seems modest compared to American giants like Big Bud, the sheer displacement and torque of the engine made it one of the largest tractor engines of its time in Eastern Europe. The K-701 weighed around 12 tons and featured massive articulated steering, giving it agility despite its bulk. It could haul wide plows and seeders across the endless collective farm fields, covering huge areas efficiently. What made the K-701 legendary wasn't just its size, but its durability. Farmers praised its ability to run in extreme cold, rough soils and with minimal maintenance, a necessity in the Soviet Union where spare parts and service could be scarce. The tractor also became an icon, exported to countries across the Eastern Bloc and even to some Western markets. Its blocky, industrial design gave it a no-nonsense appearance, one that matched its rugged performance. Today, many K-701s are still in use, a testament to their longevity and overbuilt engineering. For collectors and enthusiasts, the K-701 symbolizes a different philosophy of tractor building, not to chase record horsepower numbers, but to build machines that would survive anything. With its massive V12 diesel and simple but effective design, the K-701 stands tall as one of the great giants of the Cold War farming era. Number 7. Big Bud 950-50. While the Big Bud 747 has rightly earned worldwide fame, its lesser-known brother, the Big Bud 950-50, deserves recognition as well. Built in Montana during the same era, the 950-50 was a powerhouse in its own right, designed for large acreage farms that needed the absolute maximum in pulling capacity. At the core of this tractor was a Caterpillar 3508 engine, an enormous V8 diesel with a displacement of more than 34 liters. In its tuned form, the engine produced close to 950 horsepower, though some reports suggest that certain units were pushed beyond 1,000 horsepower during their working lives. This put the 950-50 in rare company, rivaling the 747 in sheer output. What made the 950-50 remarkable was that it was not just a showpiece, it was a workhorse. Farmers used it to pull cultivators over 80 feet wide, accomplishing in a single pass what smaller tractors would take multiple passes to finish. The tractor's immense size and weight, however, made it best suited for wide-open prairie farms where soil compaction was less of a concern. Its design borrowed heavily from the same philosophy as the 747, build a massive frame, fit oversized tires, and create a transmission capable of handling torque levels that would shred ordinary gearboxes. Though it never achieved the fame of the 747, the 950-50 has been preserved by enthusiasts and still appears at shows where its size impresses all who see it. In many ways, it represents the hidden history of Big Bud, a company that, while small, built some of the largest and most powerful tractors ever to grace a farm. The 950-50 is proof that the horsepower arms race didn't stop with one famous machine, but extended into other Big Bud creations that remain legendary among collectors. Number 6. Steiger Big Jack. If two engines weren't enough, Steiger went even further with an experiment that became known as Big Jack. Built as a one-off project in the 1970s, Big Jack wasn't just a tractor, it was a mechanical spectacle. Rather than one or two massive diesels, it was powered by three Caterpillar 3306 engines, each producing about 250 horsepower. Combined, the total output was around 750 horsepower, making Big Jack one of the most powerful tractors of its era. The design was radical. Essentially, three Cougar front ends were combined to create a triple-engine articulated monster. Each engine had its own clutch and drive system, which made operating the tractor both fascinating and incredibly complex. Shifting gears meant coordinating three power sources, and maintenance was an ongoing battle. Yet when Big Jack worked, it was unstoppable. Farmers who witnessed it said it could pull implements that no other tractor dared to tackle, ripping through tough soils with an ease that seemed impossible. Like the Panther Twin, Big Jack's biggest weakness was its complexity. With 3 engines running together, the chances of failure were tripled and the fuel consumption was astronomical. It was also heavy and cumbersome, limiting where it could be used. Despite its impracticality, Big Jack holds a special place in tractor history because of its audacity. It represented the peak of Steiger's experimental spirit and showed just how far tractor builders were willing to go in the horsepower wars. Today, it lives on mostly in stories and photos, a legend from an era when engineers asked not should we, but can we. Big Jack may not have revolutionized farming, but it proved that the pursuit of raw power could lead to some of the wildest and most unforgettable tractors ever built. Number 5. Steiger KP-525. By the late 1970s and early 1980s, the Steiger name had already become synonymous with massive, high-horsepower articulated tractors. But when farms across North America demanded even more pulling power for ever larger implements, Steiger answered with one of its most formidable creations, the Steiger KP-525. At the heart of this green giant was the legendary Cummins KTA 150 diesel, a colossal inline-6 engine displacing 18.9 liters. Rated at 525 horsepower, this engine was originally designed for heavy-duty applications like mining trucks and industrial machinery, and in the KP-525, it gave farmers unmatched muscle in the field. The KP-525 was part of Steiger's KP series, with the K standing for the Cummins K-series power plant. It weighed nearly 20 tons and was built on a rugged articulated frame that could withstand the immense torque produced by the massive Cummins. Farmers who ran the KP-525 described it as unstoppable, able to pull enormous cultivators and deep rippers across thousands of acres without breaking a sweat. Its durability and reliability made it a favorite for large-scale wheat and corn farms in the US and Canada, where covering wide fields quickly was the key to success. What set the KP-525 apart was not just its horsepower, but its reputation for longevity. The KTA 1150 was famous for running tens of thousands of hours in industrial applications, and when paired with Steiger's simple but rugged design, it created a tractor that could keep going season after season. Even today, many KP-525s remain in use or preserved by collectors, a testament to their overbuilt engineering. In the history of Steiger, the KP-525 represents the perfect blend of raw horsepower and practical design, a no-nonsense workhorse with one of the largest engines ever put into a farm tractor. Number 4. Rite 750. Earthquake. The Rite 750 was one of those tractors that blurred the line between production and custom build, and its most famous version, nicknamed the Earthquake, truly lived up to its name. Produced by Rite Tractor Company in Montana during the 1970s, this machine was designed for farmers who wanted nothing less than brute force. At its heart was a Detroit diesel V12 engine, commonly believed to be the 12-volt 92 series, which displaced over 18 liters. Out of the factory, the Rite 750 delivered around 750 horsepower, an astonishing figure for its time. But some owners, eager to push the limits, tuned these engines to squeeze out even more power, with the Earthquake version producing as much as 850 horsepower. That kind of power made the Rite 750 a favorite in tractor pulling demonstrations, where it could drag sleds with such authority that spectators compared it to a freight train. Unlike mass-produced tractors from John Deere or International Harvester, Rite machines were semi-custom, often hand-built in small numbers for large-scale farms in the Midwest and West. The 750 was heavy, rugged, and simple in concept. Put the biggest engine possible into a strong frame, attach oversized tires, and let it loose in the field. While its power was undeniable, it also came with drawbacks. Fuel consumption was enormous, and its sheer weight limited where it could be used effectively. Still, for the farmers who had the acres to justify it, the Rite 750 was a dream machine. It represented the independent spirit of smaller tractor builders who weren't afraid to challenge industry giants with daring designs. The Earthquake's legend lives on today, not just in tractor shows but in farming folklore. A reminder of a time when raw engine power was the ultimate goal, and when daring companies were willing to build tractors that shook the earth. Number 3. Schlüter Profi Trac 5000 TVL. While North America produced many of the world's biggest tractors, Europe had its own engineering marvels. Among them, the Schlüter Profi Trac 5000 TVL stands out as one of the most impressive. Built in Germany, this tractor was a prototype intended to push the limits of agricultural power. Under its long hood sat a MAN-D2542 MTE V12 diesel engine with twin turbochargers, displacing an astonishing 20.9 liters, producing around 515 horsepower and over 1700 Nm of torque. The engine gave the Profi Trac incredible pulling strength at low RPMs, ideal for heavy plowing and deep tillage. Unlike American giants that often relied on articulated steering, Schlüter designed the 5000 TVL with four-wheel steering, allowing it to maneuver surprisingly well for a tractor that weighed around 18 tons. Its advanced hydrodynamic torque converter and ZF transmission gave it smooth power delivery, reducing strain on the driveline despite the colossal torque. The design reflected European priorities. While American tractors focused on raw horsepower and massive size, German engineers emphasized precision, balance, and innovative drivetrains. The Profi Trac 5000 TVL was also visually striking, with its bold angular hood and high cab offering commanding visibility. Sadly, like many experimental tractors, it never reached mass production. Only a handful of prototypes were ever made, making it one of the rarest giants in tractor history. Collectors and enthusiasts today see it as a unique blend of German engineering discipline with raw mechanical muscle. More than just a machine, the Schlüter Profi Trac 5000 TVL symbolizes a time when manufacturers were unafraid to experiment with radical designs, bringing V12 diesel power into the fields. Its rarity makes it legendary, and its place in tractor history is secure as one of the most ambitious European tractors ever created. Number 2. Versatile 1080 Big Roy. In the 1970s, as farms grew larger and the horsepower race heated up, Canadian manufacturer Versatile set out to create a machine that would dominate the prairie fields. The result was the Versatile 1080, affectionately nicknamed Big Roy. Built in 1977, Big Roy was more than just a tractor. It was a technological statement. Powering this unique machine was the Cummins KTA-152-600, a six-cylinder inline diesel engine with a massive displacement of 18.8 liters. Rated at 600 horsepower, this engine was one of the largest ever installed in a tractor of its day, delivering the brute strength required to pull wide air seeders and heavy cultivators across endless Canadian farmland. But it wasn't only about the engine. Big Roy was designed from the ground up as an 8x8, meaning it had 4 axles and 8 massive wheels all pulling together. This layout distributed weight evenly and maximized traction, allowing the tractor to dig in without tearing up the soil. The cab was mounted far forward for visibility, with the engine located at the rear, an unusual configuration that helped balance the massive machine. At nearly 26 tons and over 30 feet long, Big Roy was an absolute colossus. Yet despite its potential, it never went into production. The complexity and costs proved too high, and Versatile decided not to pursue mass manufacturing. Still, Big Roy left its mark as one of the boldest prototypes ever built, a testament to Canadian engineering ambition. Today, the lone surviving Big Roy is preserved at the Manitoba Agricultural Museum, where it continues to draw crowds. Farmers who see it marvel not only at its size, but at the vision behind it, proof that the search for power and productivity in agriculture once inspired some of the boldest designs imaginable. Number 1. Big Bud 16V747. When people talk about the largest tractor in the world, one name always rises above the rest: the Big Bud 747. Built in 1977 by Northern Manufacturing in Montana, this single machine was designed to outclass everything else in size, power, and durability. At its heart sits a Detroit diesel 16-volt 92T engine, a monstrous 16-cylinder two-stroke diesel displacing over 24 liters. With turbocharging and intercooling, the 747 produced a jaw-dropping 960 horsepower in its prime, and later versions have been tuned to as much as 1,100 horsepower. Just as impressive as the raw power was the torque, around 2,500 Nm at just 1,200 RPM, perfect for dragging massive cultivators and deep rippers through the tough Montana soil. Everything about the tractor had to be supersized. Custom 8-foot tires, a heavy-duty transmission built to absorb the enormous torque, and a frame stretching more than 27 feet in length. The machine itself weighed close to 100,000 pounds, making it more like a locomotive on wheels than a conventional farm tractor. Yet, despite its bulk, it was not built for show. It worked real fields, covering hundreds of acres with unmatched efficiency. Farmers marveled at the way one tractor could replace entire fleets of smaller machines, cutting down on manpower and time. The 747 also became a celebrity, touring farm shows and parades where crowds gawked at its sheer size. Today, it stands as a living legend, restored and maintained for display, but still functional. The Big Bud 747 is more than just a tractor. It is a symbol of an era when bigger truly meant better, and when engineering ambition created a machine that farmers would never forget. So there you have it, the 10 largest engines ever put into old tractors. From American legends like the Big Bud 747 and Rite 750 Earthquake, to international giants like the Schlüter Profi Trac and Kirovets K-700. Each one of these machines proved that farming isn't just about crops, it's about engineering dreams made of steel, diesel, and raw horsepower. Which of these giants impressed you the most? Let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more incredible tractor history, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next countdown of farming's most powerful machines. Until then, keep those engines running, and I'll see you in the next one.